How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another card game video here on Red Zone Rogue. Today, we are playing Grand Archive with Alan Fan, one of the developers of the game. Now, this game is still in Kickstarter as of the time of this recording. We do not actually have real copies of the cards. This is actually like a test print card that I won as part of their like doodle contest. I did some doodles and I randomly won. Mine weren't good enough to actually win. I got the random win on like one of the random ones. I submitted a lot. But we do have the print and play versions of the game. In fact, you can actually print out these print and play versions and play for yourselves. The versions that we are playing with now are the first versions of the print and play. They have an updated version of them currently with, updated artwork, as well as some balancing tweaks here and there. Keep in mind that the artwork for the gameplay in this video is mostly placeholder art, but the art that is done looks phenomenal, as you can see here. And like the foiling on the cards, once they're gonna be, done, look really, really good. So how this video is gonna work is that Alan and I are going to play some games of Grand Archive and we're going to talk. Basically, the format's gonna be gameplay, interview, gameplay, interview. And I'm gonna ask a lot of questions about the gameplay, but not just about mechanics. We do go over mechanics, ask, very clarifying things. And, but we also talk about organized play. I ask him about how many sets they want to do a year, like release schedule kind of stuff. I ask him about how many classes they expect per set. And, ask about bans, like their philosophy behind banning cards. Just a lot of stuff that I would care about as a player, not exactly as an investor, but as a player of this game. Things that, that I care about. So grab a coffee, tea, kick back. This is a long one. Like I said, 2 hours long. You can already see it, in the timeline here. But like I said, we're gonna do gameplay. We're going to have like an interview where I just ask a bunch of random questions. And then we talk about anime and manga for a little bit. So if you're not into that, you might want to skip it. But we start talking about our tastes in anime and manga. And I figured that's a good way to kind of get to know the developers. They are called Weebs of the Shore after all. And I figured, you know what? If they're called Weebs of the Shore, let's ask them about their weebiness. And then more gameplay. And then more, interviewee stuff. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. You'll see what I think of Grand Archive and the gameplay as we progress, but I hope you enjoy the video, and yeah, kick back. It's a long one. Let's do it. It's all good. Which deck are you gonna play with?
I will be playing the Rye deck, if that is okay with you.
I will then play the other one just so we can show them off. Both off.
Okay.
I played one game of Grand Archive. I convinced my girlfriend to play with me. We played the other day.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so I do know the rules a little. There are some things that we just we were too lazy to actually look up, like the comprehensive rules or whatever, or to ask anyone. Yeah. So there's some things that we assumed, like for example, I assume that fast effects function similar to how they work in other games, like a stack kind of thing. So if I have an effect, the opponent can react to the effect, and then I can react, and then they're resolved in order, like like in Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic or whatever.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. And then the other one is we both also assumed that when cards from your, I'm so sorry if I get the lingo wrong, cards from your second deck, this is like, I forget what the deck is called, but these cards, when they are destroyed, they're automatically banished, right?
They are automatically banished. Yes.
Okay, cool. That's what I assumed. I assumed from like a gameplay point of view, or a design point of view, I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for them to go in the graveyard if there are graveyard mechanics later that interact with like shuffling graveyard cards back into the deck. So I was like, probably just gonna get banished.
Yeah. So we've been planning ahead a little bit. So as soon as say something like pops, they automatically get banished and sent to the out of play zone, the banish zone.
Sweet. Yeah, we the big question was for Lorraine, the level 3 Lorraine. Because we were like, oh, what happens to the weapons when they get destroyed? Well, they just go into the banish, which is great.
As soon as they run out of durability, they go to the banish zone.
Sweet. The game we played was pretty close. I played with Rye, and then my partner Robin played with Lorraine. She ended up beating me, but she was at like 1 health. Like, it was really close.
That's pretty close. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I did the whole Rye Wombo combo where you play the 11 damage card and then copy it. And so did 22, and then I got a couple incremental here and there, but she ended up just killing me out with it, or with her own like dudes. But yeah,
cool. So I was thinking that I was gonna have to explain like how to play and everything, but it seems like you already got a game in, so we can talk about it, and then maybe get like a cool gameplay video. I'm happy to like just chat or do whatever.
Yeah,
I was assuming the video would be kind of more like a casual like setting, nothing like too like. Oh, you probably have some questions you probably want to ask me, but yeah, I'm open to answering anything. I'm not really like nothing's really a secret. If I can't answer it, then I'll just let you know. But...
Okay, no problem. Yeah, I like to keep stuff like this way more casual. I mean, like, I love card games, and I like inviting people on the channel who also love card games. So it's just like, I like the vibe to be just like sitting down with a friend, playing some card games.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
I do have questions, but they're not like, I don't know. I mean, they might be hard questions, but they're just stuff for me as a player, stuff that I'm just immediately curious about. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm fine to like answering whatever I can. I can't promise that I'll know everything. There's like a lot of things going on, but I try to stay in the loop and like make sure that I'm on top of like everything that's going on, in especially for our project, right? So it's sometimes they're like the guys who are doing the card design and then doing like some like they're always like pushing out new stuff. So sometimes it's like, oh, don't want to tell you about the new stuff yet, or stuff like that. Like,
yeah. What's your role in the game creation or whatever?
Yeah, so I'm basically the project manager and also the business developer. So I do a lot of like these meetings, online promotions, talking to distributors and retailers. Also, my main thing is gameplay and balancing. So,
okay, sweet.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time. We're a pretty small team, so we all spend a lot of time like doing that, like gameplay and balancing, and making sure that nothing's too broken, right? So
yeah, that makes sense. So along that vein, then I'm just curious. This is something I'm always curious about any new game. What's your approach to like banning and restricting and that kind of stuff? Is it going to be similar to Magic, where you can do restrictions, or are you just going to do hard bans? Or I'm just generally curious. That's just something I'm fascinated about card games in general.
So I think like the mentality that we have right now, it's like we want to make things like clear, like as clear as possible, right? Like, so if you think about like Magic and stuff, like they have like they try to do it like pretty limited as well. They don't want to just, if they have to take something out of the game, they just take it out. It's banned.
Yep.
And then in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's kind of weird because it's like, oh, you can only have one copy of this card, it's limited to one, and then some people might not know. And there's things like that could happen, which I don't think is very good for a game. So if we're gonna ban something, it's just gonna be like banned, like sent to the Shadow Realm, not coming back unless we decide elsewise, right?
Sweet. Yeah. I think that's a good approach. I remember I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh a lot as a kid, a long time ago. If people remember like Yatagarasu, that was when I played. I had like a Don Zalug Yatagarasu deck, and back then I could play with Pot of Greed. You could play with one Pot of Greed, and you could play with two Graceful Charity. And then so my deck, I found it like last year or so. It's just like all banned cards. Like I looked at it now, and it's just like everything's banned. You can't play with anything in the deck.
They had their Yu-Gi-Oh's interesting, where it's like the game was slow back then, but their cards were also extremely powerful.
Yep.
Like they're like the Pot of Greed, like being one of them, and they're even like the worst iterations of the pot like cards are still heavily played.
Oh, it's like I remember the bad one back then was the trap. It was like just a trap, and you just got to draw one card from it.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it was called, but that was like the bad one back then.
It was a Jar of Greed.
Yeah.
Good times. So back in the old days.
Yeah. Sweet. So, would you like to get started? Do we want to just roll, or how do we want to determine who goes first?
We determine who goes first by just I prefer high roll, if that's okay with you. You can go low roll, whatever you decide.
Okay, cool. 2d6 high roll.
Yep.
Right. Sweet.
That
one went off screen, but I got 5.
I got a 6. So in this game, whoever wins the sort of RNG like style, like roll off paper rock scissors, goes first.
Okay, sweet.
Similar to Vanguard. So
sounds good.
First, and then so first I would materialize my Spirit of Fire here. ETB, I draw 6 cards.
So because this is just a general question that I think I know the answer to, but for people watching this, since you draw off of the materialization, there's no mulligan or anything, right?
There is no mulligan system right now yet. We're experimenting like a way to like kind of get around this, but like we felt like those other methods like haven't been very strong, so we haven't really decided like to go forward with that idea yet.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. The game that I played with my partner, since this game doesn't really have a mana screw kind of thing, mulligan doesn't make a ton of sense because you can just play anything unless you just get a hand that has all like, I don't know, 11 cost cards or whatever. But
right,
yeah.
Let's see. I'm gonna activate Scar the Skies. I'm gonna set down a card. It's a cost of 1. My webcam is not the best, so yeah. Let me see. I will set down this card, and I will scry 1 or glimpse, and I will choose to keep that card on top and then draw it.
Sweet, sounds good.
So this goes to the graveyard here.
I think it would be good to, at least what I'm going to do is I'm going to read all of the effects out for everyone, just so they know what I'm doing.
Yeah, for sure. I will try to do my best to make sure I, say what I'm doing here. I will also activate this ally, Honorable Vanguard. It costs 3 memory to play, so I'm going to set 3 cards down from my hand. 1, 2, and 3.
So I'm curious, what order do things happen when you play them? Does the card effect happen first and then you pay for the memory, or do you pay for the memory first and then the card effect happens? Because I know there's a card in the Lorraine deck where it's like you reveal a random card in your memory, and if it's like a win card, it goes into your memory. Like, so which happens first?
So the card goes like on the stack. So you present the card to attempt to activate. You pay for cost.
Okay, cool.
And then if the effect resolves, then you would resolve like the effect. To say if you were to reveal like I believe the sword is what you're thinking about, right? Yeah. So the sword, if the opponent chooses to let that go through, then after you pay for a cost and it enters the battlefield, the effect will resolve, and then you'd have to present all the cards in your memory and then take damage or do whatever it's supposed to say in the card, right?
Sweet, sounds good.
All right, so and that'll be my turn. I'll pass it over to you.
Sweet. So first turn, we have to materialize the Spirit of Wind. Enter effect. I get to draw 6 cards. It's also just wind, so now I have the wind element. This is going to be an interesting game for me because this is the deck that I did not play with last time. I played with the the Rye deck. The Rye deck like spoke to me because I was like, for some reason, I don't know if any viewers out there or if you have played Shadowverse, but the Rye deck was like, oh, this reminds me of like Runecraft from Shadowverse, where you want to just kind of play a bunch of not pump cards, but things that interact with your cards to power them up so you can have a big old wombo combo turn.
Funny enough, I was a Runecraft main. I think that's why.
Oh, well, there you go.
In this class too, so
yeah,
I played a lot of Runecraft.
Yep, I've played Daria. I've played the one that lets you go again. I forget the name of the card. Take an extra turn.
Yeah. I can't remember. I remember Daria and playing a lot of Daria. She was my favorite card at the time. I also played a lot of Forest Craft, which was a lot of fun too. Yeah.
I played Sword. I got to like AA rank just playing Sword, and then I got like really burnt out.
Yeah. Grinding any sort of card game always gets pretty tiring.
All right. So for this, do I draw a card or just the 6 on my first turn?
So you've done your materialize phase.
Yep.
And then you basically go to your draw phase. I as turn player, skip my draw phase for my first turn.
Okay, so I would draw though, since I'm second player.
You would draw.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Because that's relevant. Because now I can actually play two dudes. Okay. Yeah. So I will play an Esteemed Knight. It's just a 2/3, and I will pay for it with. Let's see. I guess these are all getting played anyway. So I'll do these 3. And then I will also play a Weaponsmith, which costs 2.
All right.
And the Weaponsmith has a special ability. It's a 1/3. It says, at the beginning of your recollection phase, put a durability counter on target weapon you control. So basically just pumps up my weapons so I can attack with them multiple times, which is pretty good.
It is pretty good.
And I will go to attacks. I will have my Esteemed Knight attack your 2/2.
All right. Attack goes through. My Honorable Vanguard will die.
Cool. And then I will attack your Spirit for 1 with the Weaponsmith.
I will be at 1 damage.
Sweet. And then I'm done.
Don't know where my D20 is. I would like to use that. All right. So going to my turn. So I'm going to move to the materialized phase. I will choose to level up. So presenting my Rye character here is cost 1. So to pay for this, I would have to banish 1 card from my memory. And I will allow you to pick, or we can roll a dice if you prefer. So
put the closest one to your main deck.
Okay, this one right here?
Yep.
All right, so this is banished from the game. And I'll set that down right here. I'm trying to position it so like everything's inside the camera. So
sounds good.
We'll go to my rig collection phase. Onto the enter effect, by the way, I do get 2 counters, 2 enlightened counters here. And then now I'll go to my recollection phase. So let's draw and then draw per turn. Let's see.
And while he's thinking, I do want to note to everyone, there's a lot of placeholder art in these. This is the print and play version, so that's why these look like they do. These are just placeholder artworks. So just so you know if you're watching. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are ones that I had to draw, and then we've had the. It was an interesting time to get those things out there.
Yeah.
Let's see, the play is not so hot.
But some of the art is like done like this Lorraine, and she looks great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Putting up the Lorraine 2 is actually, I think, my favorite artwork at the moment.
Oh yeah, this one looks fantastic. I've used this one in a couple of videos I talked about Grand Archive, because you have like a higher quality one of the signed version. It looks really sweet.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we want that one. All right. I will present. I'm going to play Barrier Servant. It's a cost of 3. I will be putting down these 3 cards here. I'm going to just set them sideways, actually, so to represent like my memory a little bit better.
Sweet.
And then this one is what's left in my hand here. Barrier Servant basically says it has intercept. It also has the activated ability of remove 2 enlightened counters from your champion the next time he would take damage. Barrier Servant would take damage. This turn, prevent that damage.
Sweet.
And I will say, go ahead.
I do know that Barrier Servant's quite annoying because I played it in the game that I played with.
Yeah, he is way better late game than he is right now, but my opening hand does not give me very much. I'll say that.
So I'm going to go ahead and I'll level up my my character as well, my champion as well. So okay. We'll do Lorraine. Would you like to pick one of my cards to pay for the cost?
I will do the one smack dab in the middle.
Cool. This one is a Crusader of Asa. I'll put my
banished.
I'll put my banish zone up here. Sweet. And then I go to my recollection phase. Which one happens first? Untap or recollection? No, it probably doesn't matter.
It is the untap first.
Cool. Yeah. And then recollection. Draw for turn. Look at hand. Okay. So, let's see. Barrier Servant, how big is he? So he's a 1/3, right?
He is a 1/3, yeah. He's a 1/3.
Okay. In that case, I think I want to play... Oh, wait, hold on. Lorraine had an enter effect. I'm sorry. Her enter effect is I get to materialize a weapon from the material deck with a cost of 0.
Yes, that is fine. No worries.
I think there is there's like 1 in here.
It is the 1 right now. We're experimenting with the second one, but we have the 1 as the Commander's Blade.
Sweet. And the Commander's Blade is a weapon. Class bonus, enter effect. Up to one ally I control gets +1 until end of turn. I'm going to give the Esteemed Knight here +1. Okay. So he's going to make him a 3/3. And then this thing has 1 durability on it and does 1 damage.
Yep.
Cool. Let's just put Lorraine over here.
So what's actually interesting is, though, you have your materialize, and then you put in your champion, correct? And then so you'd also resolve the enter effect by putting in the sword. Your weaponsmith, it says at the beginning of your recollection phase, so you do get an extra counter on your commander's blade.
Oh, cool. That is a good thing to note. There you go. I have played exactly 1 game of Grand Archive, and it was not with this deck. It was with the right.
No worries. I'll try to help you like catch anything. If hopefully I don't miss anything. I'm not always the best with that, so.
Sweet. I appreciate it. How just as a general strategy, how do you value leveling up your champion versus playing other cards in your deck? It probably varies depending on which champion you're playing, but I'm just curious about your opinions on that.
So I think that
go ahead.
The amount of games that we have tested and played and tried, I think the amount of times that like you really want to like pushing to level 3 usually will get you killed faster than pushing like, you know, maybe sitting at level 2 or just trying to build up a hand by like say using your material deck, right? So if you see in your material deck there's like a tons of cards that give you like cards back where like they have like these baubles, life essence amulet, like other ones like these ones that activate whenever you play a certain element type card. You really can only do it whenever you have the appropriate amount of card advantage, and it's not like you should be like, oh, I have to get to level 3 by doing whatever it takes, right? You can be kind of slow about it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's just an interesting thing that popped up because I want to say I rushed level 3 when I was playing with Rye, but I got there way before Robin, who sat at level 2 for quite a long time.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the thing with Lorraine is she's very powerful at like lower levels. She just puts out these bodies and it's just, you know, hitting face. You have to make the right player like, you know, think about how they wanted to defend themselves like most efficiently, while building up like, you know, any sort of card advantage as possible, because you need that to really play this character.
So for the phases of the turn, this is just another random question. Is this like, I don't know if you're familiar with like Force of Will, but is it like Force of Will when I can just attack and then play stuff and then attack and then play stuff? Or is it more like Magic where I have like a main phase to play stuff and then like a specific like attack phase?
Yeah, it's more like Force of Will back in the day. You could like, you can attack and then play stuff and then, you know, decide out your turns from there. Okay. Sweet. One thing is each attack kind of has like its own like little like battle phase. So you would attack and then you would declare an attack. You can't respond to the declaration, but you can respond to like damage and stuff if that matters. Okay,
cool. So I would here then attack with my Esteemed Knight. I'm gonna just go straight for your Barrier Servant. So this is a 3/3 Esteemed Knight.
Right. That's gonna force me. I'm gonna use my 2 Enlightened counters to just kind of save it.
Cool. And then I will play an Honorable Vanguard.
Okay.
She costs 3 to play. I'm gonna pay with these 2, and then also probably this one. And she's a 2/2 with Intercept. And then I think I'm just gonna try to finish off your barrier dude. So I'll attack it with the Honorable Vanguard for 2, and then I'll attack it for 1 with the Weaponsmith.
All right, that will finish my Barrier Servant off.
Cool. And before I use this Commander's Blade, I need to ask, how many weapons can I have on the field? Is it like restricted, or can I just have a crap load of swords if I want them?
You can have a crap load of swords if you wanted. If you were to attack, though, you can only attack with 1. So you have to choose which one you wanted to use that turn.
Sweet. Yep. And my other question then is, I know there's some skills, I'm not going to say I have any, but I know there's some skills in the deck that are like attack skills. Do they require your champion to become rested to use, or do you just do it?
Yes, it is. It does require your champion to be rested to use. So say if you had like, there are some unique interactions. So like leveling up untaps you as well. So you could attack at level 2 or level 1, level up. Say if you had a card that levels you up in the middle of your turn, you could it would untap your champion and allow you to attack again if you had enough like durability or an attack card.
Right? Okay, cool. And then for the attack cards, it's only the attack card. I can't like throw in a weapon too. Like could I attack?
Oh, you can throw in the weapon too.
Oh, okay, cool.
If your weapon was 1 damage, and your attack was like, say, you play an attack card that gave you 3 damage, you could swing for 4.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. That's good to know. All right. With that said, I'm just going to. I might as well. I will attack with Lorraine, using this Commander's Blade. So it'll go down 1.
All right. I will be at 2 damage here.
And I will pass the turn to you.
Let's see here. I'm gonna grab the Surveillance Stone out of my materialized deck. Move to Recollection phase.
Sounds good. I think that's the one where like if I attack with like 3 dudes, that you get a draw card.
Yeah. So it's whenever you attack with a unit. If it was the 3rd time that you attacked this turn, I can banish it. If I do, draw a card.
Cool. And then unit refers to both allies and champions, right?
Yes, cool. It does refer to both.
That's what we had assumed when we played, because I was like, well, it specifically says ally on 1 card and then champion, so I assume it refers to both. Cool.
Yeah. So my draws here are not the best. I think. Yeah. I think the play for me right now it's gonna be the pass.
All right. So the first phase is Is it the materialization phase? That's the first one?
You would untap first.
Untap first. Okay, cool.
Yes.
So untap, and then materialize. Okay, so in this situation, I have these cards. I think, but you don't have any allies out.
I'm gonna use my calculator to keep track of my life total here.
Okay, sounds good. I will have, for those watching, it'll be obvious already. I'll have like a life counter on the screen. Let's see. It's an interesting situation. I actually think, so I could, those watching, I could level up Lorraine. And she has a pretty cool enter effect. She gets +2 attack for the turn, but when she destroys an ally, you get a draw card. I think in this situation, I want to save this so I can get value out of drawing the card, especially since he's not doing a ton right now. So I think I'm actually going to play this Clarent sort of piece instead, which lets me protect some of my dudes that I have on the field. So it's a weapon. It has a class bonus. I can remove a durability counter from it and prevent the next 1 damage. Target action would deal to units I control, which is pretty sweet. So I will get the Clarent sword out here, and that's going to cost me 1 to pay. So which one would you like me to?
I will take that middle card.
Middle one. Middle one is a Crux card, Cruxite, with pretty cool artwork on there. I'll move everything down. All right, so then I recollect, and then is it recollect and then draw, or draw and then recollect?
Recollect then draw.
Okay, so recollect. Clarent has 3 counters. I'm gonna put the extra counter on it from the weaponsmith, and then draw my card. Let's see what I can do. So I'm presenting a decent amount of damage here. About 6. I think I want to just go full aggro here. So I will just start by... I'll start by attacking with the Honorable Vanguard for 2.
Okay. I'll be at 4 damage.
Cool. Let's attack with the Esteemed Knight for 2.
Okay.
The Weaponsmith for 1.
Oh, you said should be at 1. Okay. Should be at 7.
Yep. And then I'm going to attack with Lorraine and this Commander's Blade, which will get rid of the last durability counter, and this will get banished.
So, are you attacking with Lorraine first or with the Esteemed Knight first?
Lorraine. Esteemed Knight and then Lorraine.
Okay. So, on the attack of the Esteemed Knight, actually, so this will trigger my Surveillance Stone.
Yep.
So, I will draw a card. And, okay.
Cool. And then I'll
move to damage. And I'll take 2. And then Lorraine, you're swinging with 1, so I'll take 1.
Cool. And so this one gets banished. And then I'm going to do some shenanigans here. I'm going to play a Dungeon Guide, which is going to cost me 3 to play.
Oh, okay.
And then it has an enter effect. I can banish 2 cards from my memory at random. If I do, my champion levels up. And I'm going to do that. So which ones of these would you like me to banish?
The 2 on the right. So the middle and the right side here. Yeah, the one closest to your main deck. Yeah.
Cool. And that these are the good ones. Savage Slash and Disorienting One. That's all right. And so that's going to level up Lorraine. And like you said, she becomes untapped. And she also has an enter effect. Until end of turn, her attacks gain +2. And when it destroys an ally, draw a card. So she gets +2. And then I will... I'll just attack you for 2. Can I just attack you for 2 without using the sword?
You have to have a weapon to be able to attack. So the
Gotcha.
you can't bare fist punch me, but you can attack me with the sword, so it'll be 3.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. I'll attack you with the sword.
Okay.
For 3, and then my final one will be attacking you for additional 1 with the Dungeon Guide.
I am very low.
And I am done.
So I am not in a good position here. Let's see.
I'm going full aggro. We mentioned, I don't know if what's gonna be kept in the video and what's not, but I mentioned Shadowverse at the start, and I mentioned how I played a lot of Swordcraft in Shadowverse, and this is what I do. Just attack constantly.
Let's see here.
How much life does your level?
My level, I have 15, so I'm
at
14. So I am about to be dead. So that's not good. Thinking on the materialize here.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. I think I'm gonna have to get this Bauble of Empowerment.
Okay, cool.
It basically says activate ability, banish Bauble of Empowerment. Your champion gets +2 levels until end of turn.
Sweet.
Okay. Move to draw phase. Draw for turn. So 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Sorry, I'm planning out my turn here. So I'm not.
No problem.
I will present. See if there's a way that I don't die.
This is a crucial turn, so it's no problem.
Okay. All right. So the correct way is I present this. I will be playing Creative Shock.
Cool.
It says draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Class bonus. If a fire card was discarded by Creative Shock, then I can choose a unit and deal 2 damage to it.
Sweet.
Class bonus is if you're the same class as the card typing on this card. So this is Action Mage. So if you are a mage, then you get the bonus. So I'm going to draw 2, discard 2. So 1, 2. Or draw 2, discard 1. Sorry, can't count. I will discard Impassioned Tutor, which is a fire card, and I will deal. So I will deal 2 damage to your Honorable Vanguard.
Cool. I will remove 1 counter from Clarent to prevent 1 damage.
So this is kind of strange. So since the card was already presented, and maybe I should have told you this actually. Okay. So I've already presented the card and allowed to like resolve the effect pretty much. So since the effect is already resolved, you can't respond, I guess, with the Clarent. I gotta pull up I can't remember the exact ruling that we had on this, but yeah.
So when
So you could
oh, go ahead.
you could do it before, like whenever I present the card, because
So I won't be able to know what target you're targeting.
yes, yeah.
All right, that's fine.
But I believe that I am still dead. Let's see. Yeah, I am still dead here. I can't. So yeah, this goes down to 4 cost. Yeah. All right. Well, best play is I will try to play this Blitz Mage, which is a 3/1 minion or ally that costs 3.
Okay.
And I'll just swing into your honorable.
So when you how about this way then? When you play that, I'm still figuring out how to work this Clarent. When the second you play that, then can I just remove all of these and prevent the next 1 damage to every single one of my dudes?
I believe Clarence says it is to action, but
target action. Oh, that's true. It does say action. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So the for like say like an attack by an ally, it wouldn't work. But what I had in hand, which will, because I'm gonna die next turn regardless of what I do here. In the case of like Purge in the Flames or Purge in Flames, it says deal 2 to all units or deal 3 to all units. So in response to this like cast, you could remove the counters off of Clarent and prevent damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I guess the other card was just tricky because I wasn't sure what your target was. I wanted to prevent it from whatever the target was, but I guess yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, there's a specific like case like of this, and like I think the comprehensive rules, and then whenever we're balancing and like playtesting and stuff, this is like one of the things that I've been told. So I was just like, oh yeah. And so this card like works a little bit different than like you would think, I guess. It's I had to pull up the comprehensive rules to like really remember the reasoning why.
I can see why, because like thinking about it from other card games, it's you're doing the effect. So the effect is already happening, right? So you're drawing the 2 cards and then discarding 1 card. So the effect is already happening, and then you choose to do the damage afterwards as part of the effect.
Yeah.
Whereas like a regular damaging spell, part of the effect would be like target the card, deal
To target
the damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see why. I can see why for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I'll pass it over to you though. And,
okay. Which one did you?
This was.
Which one did you attack, by the way?
I will kill your esteemed knight there.
Cool.
And then I have my Blitz Mage on board.
Sweet.
And go ahead.
And just for those watching, my character does not do damage back. They only do damage back if they are like untapped, and then I have to tap them to do the damage. So yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have tap, recollection. I think I'm just gonna grab a 0 cost. Grab life essence, and then we have recollect. This will get another counter. Go up to 4, and then I just will attack you with Clarent for 1.
I will die.
Okay, there we go.
That will put me to 15, and that'll be game.
Nice.
You had the unbreakable board. I was just like, oh man, if he plays the 2/3 into the 1/3 and then into all that, I was like, oh yeah, that's a dream start. I was
just had a bunch of dudes, and I was like, yeah, just gotta play the dudes.
Yeah, I was hoping that you wouldn't try to grab the Clarent and maybe try to like level up or do a different decision. So I was like, okay, maybe if he does something different, I can grab Purge of I can level up with the Bauble of Empowerment and use that to discount the Purge in Flames, because Purge in Flames has efficiency, so that means that this card costs less based on your level.
Mm-hmm.
So its normal cost is 7. So using Bauble of Empowerment puts me to level 3. Purge in Flames costs 7 minus 3 is 4, so I would need 4 cards to play it and basically clear the board. But getting Clarent was a smart decision there.
Yeah, I was like, it was down to two decisions for me. It was either the Warrior's Longsword or Clarent, and as Warrior's Longsword was like, deals a little bit more damage. I can maybe push through and try to aggro you down quicker. But then with Clarent, I was like, well, generally, in my experience playing card games, it's smarter to protect protect my board rather than to push an extra like one point of damage.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was a quick version of this.
Quick game. I definitely got aggroed out.
And then that's what aggro does too, though, right? Like,
yeah, good beats.
Yep.
Beats.
I played last night with my partner, or it was either last night or the night before, and I played with Rye, and it was Valiant. Rye can do some really cool, scary stuff, basically.
Yeah.
He can wombo combo off and do like a crap load of damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like tutor effects in this game? Cards that let you search for other cards. Yeah.
So, like, we're gonna experiment with it, and then it'd have to be like, you know, you're gonna neg because you're losing. You're probably gonna lose like 2 cards to be able to play, like, you know, like to pull a card just like out of your deck by tutoring, and then we're experimenting around with design ideas, but you know, I think we're a little reserved, like reserved on that, and I don't believe like you kind because you already kind of have like a wish board pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your materialized deck. So the it's kind of like something that's been on our minds, but we're not like decided like if we want to do any like if we wanted to print a card at least for the first set with like with a tutor inside, you know.
I think tutors are very strong, and you have to be very careful with them.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking just with Rye, I was like, I remember playing with it, and I can imagine many circumstances where, like, if you have tutors, then it can be very strong.
Yeah, this deck would be deadly. Yeah, it's just like, okay, I'm gonna search for my win con win.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah.
For deck construction, I'm just once again very curious. Are there what are the restrictions on deck construction and like your what's the second deck called? Is it the materialization deck or something similar to that?
It's the material deck. I think we're still experimenting with the name. We've gotten like a lot of feedback on it, but for now it's the material deck. So I don't know if we showed this very well, but the Spirit of Fire that you get has an inherited effect that says this champion is fire element in addition to its other elements. Fire element is permanently enabled, right? And that's an inherited effect. So whenever you level up, you still get that. So Rye right now is a fire mage, right? In addition to like whatever other element he might have. So in the case of like, say if I got to level 3, which I didn't get to during the game, he has the arcane element now enabled, but he still has his fire element, right?
Yep.
That basically like you need to have fire element to play your fire cards. So like I wouldn't be able to play, you know, these fire cards without having the fire elements enabled.
Right.
So in other terms of like deck building and stuff, you're not like class locked to like certain like cards, right? So like this is I believe you have this in your deck. Scry the Skies.
Yeah.
Scry the Skies is a mage action, but any deck can have this like card in it.
Sweet.
In terms of like, let's say Creative Shock, for example, right? How we're treating like deck building and like what cards you can add into your deck. Like Creative Shock works in Lorraine if you're playing Fire Lorraine, but you don't get the class bonus because this is a mage action card, and Lorraine is not a mage. So whenever you would play this, you would just be drawing 2 and then discarding 1.
Sweet. So it's less like Flesh and Blood, where like if you're playing a warrior or whatever, you can only have warrior and then generic cards or whatever.
Right.
And more like Magic, where you can put whatever you want in your deck as long as you can find a way to play it. Is how I'm getting the vibe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Sweet. Because I know a lot of the viewers on the channel here are going to be coming from Flesh and Blood, so even though there are classes, you know, warrior, mage, you can have like mage cards in your warrior deck. I think I even saw there was a card, I don't remember if it was in the Rye deck, that's like a mage cleric card. It was like the barrier thing.
Yes, the Barrier Servant is a Mage Cleric card, so we are like building like out cards for future future classes and such. I don't know if this is you can kind of see it.
Yeah.
I think on my camera it's probably going to be upside down, but
yeah.
So the flip it around here. It's gonna be backwards too, but
yeah. I saw another one too. It was a spell that lets you prevent damage. Oh, here we go. Yeah, the Spell Shield Arcane, which was pretty cool. That was like a Mage Cleric card. How many classes do y'all have planned? I know it's on your Kickstarter, and I remember seeing like Tamer and a couple others, but like how many classes do y'all have planned, and how many would you like to have per set?
So we're looking at 7 classes.
Okay.
I believe. The amount of classes that we release per set will probably be like 3 to 4.
Okay.
It's kind of what we're like kind of limited to. So we're adding the 4th class on our Kickstarter right now because we reached the stretch goal.
Nice.
So we're still deciding. We're not really settled on like the exact amount we want to have. Sometimes like some sets are just going to be different than the others.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but we're looking to have like support for kind of all the classes by like, because since each class can just play like each card generically, and then some cards will just be enhanced by like say a class bonus or something. I don't know if I went off the rails there a little bit.
No, it's all good. I do like how you can just put any card in your deck as long as you can, figure out a way to play it. It means that there's a lot of experimentation you can do with deck building and like doing maybe cross-class stuff, trying to get the most advantage out of that kind of thing, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Yeah. For like testing stuff, that what we've done before is like we released like this is like early on before Kickstarter. When things were in the early stages, we were doing like a deck building like tournament. We released all the cards that we had available. Everybody would kind of like pick out the best ones and put it into their deck. Build an actual deck and see if, like what the meta was going to be like.
Yeah.
And we've had some really crazy stuff like back then. Like we were testing out like an assassin class at the time, and that deck was like really interesting, and so. We feel like one thing to mention is like we say that we have like 7 classes, and those are just like generically like speaking, right? Like saying the fact that in the case like the mage class, like you can see different types of mages, so not just your typical maybe like different elemental type mage. It could be like a loose like archetype of like maybe like putting in like an alchemist.
Okay.
Or putting in like a shaman, like a mage that controls nature, right? So like you'll see like while some classes will be generically named like mage, like you'll see different archetypes like still. Like if you saw like the assassin, like the best way is like a rogue compared to like a ninja.
Right.
So like so if we were to do something like that, that's why we kind of left it like at a low number, like 7. I know like Flesh and Blood has, I think like almost, is it 12? I would like to say 12 different classes that they're looking at.
Putting me on the spot here. It's 4, 8. I think there's 4, 8, 9. I don't know if we want to count like merchant and shapeshifter.
Yeah.
But there's around like, so there's the first 4. We didn't get a new class in crew. In Monarch we got illusionist. So there's 9 core classes currently.
9 core classes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah.
Pretty much like similar thinking to them. I think they have like different types of like, rune blades. They have different types of like mechanologists and stuff. And the Guardian has been kind of different. Like Oldhim being like a big beefy tanky sort of dude, and then
Yeah.
Bravo being like this like heavy hitter, smash you in the face with my hammer type of deal.
Yeah. That makes sense. Do you have any sets planned beyond this first one?
Yes, but our main focus is the first set right now.
That
so
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, we do plan for like future sets, and that we have like a generic like idea of like, okay, these are kind of like what these cards like we want to do, but we were really trying to like polish up the first set, which it's kind of weird. It's like the we didn't expect to get as much funding as we did on Kickstarter, right? So the was it getting the 4th class in was something that we wanted to do, but at first we didn't think it was financially feasible. But now it's like, okay, we can add the 4th class. It's going to add more cards to the set, so that's going to have to make us like balance, continue to balance again like an overall set some more. So a lot of our efforts right now are really focused on the first set and then releasing like the product and stuff, right?
That does make sense. Like ideally speaking, in the future, how many sets would you like to have a year? Like after things are settled and you're into like the pace of things, what's your ideal number of sets a year?
Ideally, we'd like to do like 3 sets a year.
Okay,
in
sweet.
addition to like 2 supplementary sets in between.
Okay.
So
with the supplementary sets, so like once again, a lot of my people who watch the channel familiar with Flesh and Blood. There's like Crucible of War, but there's also like Japanese card games that have supplemental sets that are much smaller than Crucible. So like I know Vanguard has like little tiny supplemental sets. Which kind would you be more geared towards?
it'd be more geared towards like if you were to compare it to another card game like Flesh and Blood and like Crucible.
Okay.
So like a supplementary set like that.
Okay, sweet. So just like a bunch of random, not random, but a bunch of cards that support existing archetypes and maybe some random like oddball kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of like our hope with it. And then you should be able to like get cards like that could be supported like even more in the future, or just like maybe some cool cards that come out like maybe you can use it to predict like what's coming out next and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah.
Just another random thought, because we're talking about supplemental sets. For the main sets, are they geared to be or designed to be drafted or played with limited in mind, or are they just kind of like just sets like a lot of other Japanese card games have?
Yes, so we are planning for like draft and limited in mind as well.
Nice.
Coming from a Magic background. I don't know, background's like the right word. It's just I grew up playing a lot of Magic, right?
Me too.
Draft and limited is like one of my like favorite like things to do, because you can always play like a new deck pretty much, and or just like see different cards like every time. So we kind of want to have that same experience in Grand Archive. I'll say, to be honest, at the moment it's still left to be like extremely tested. We're still trying to find the best way, especially since that we've added more cards into the set.
Oh yeah.
So we're still, but being the first set, we're trying to figure out the best way we can make it was it draftable, right?
How would,
in the case of like organized play and stuff too.
I guess my big question for the drafting is, how would the champions and hero or champions basically work for draft? Because I know we talk about other games, I guess, in Force of Will, they did like these generic champions that you could just have that would just instead of drafting your ruler or whatever.
So if you've seen on the Kickstarter page, we hit that 4 additional like what we call limit break or lineage break. Sorry, not limit break.
I think I remember saying this actually.
Yeah, that's like the limit breaks of Final Fantasy thing. The lineage break is basically another type of hero. Like I want to say generic, but it's not really generic. But say that you drafted Rye level 1, and you had a lineage break champion, it would just break the lineage. So you would have like a maybe a powerful level 2 that you could stick on during the draft, but you'd be kind of locked out of the level 3, because level 3 Rye is also part of the Rye lineage. So
gotcha.
Yeah, so you can see like it's going to be like a maybe more generic level 2. There's going to be different strategies around that, but we're still experimenting with the idea, since Kickstarter isn't over yet, then we can't really finalize too much stuff yet. But we're approaching that like end date of New Year's.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks away from the time of this recording, something like that, right?
Yeah. So from the time of this recording, it'll be about 2 weeks away, and then after that, we'll have like tons of information. We'll know exact amount of money like that we have to like do everything. Right now, everything's still coming out of our own pockets, pretty much.
Yep, totally understand. Patreon is like that to a smaller degree because you have your number, but you don't actually know how much you're going to get for the month until the payments go through.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know how much time you have, but would you want to play another game before we?
I would love to play another game.
Cool.
Yeah, I set aside a good amount of time, and then hopefully this time I don't get clapped so hard.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll give it a good shuffle. I'll ask some like, I don't want to say like lame questions, but so the company is called Weebs of the Shore. What is, as a fellow weeb myself, I gotta ask, what's your favorite like anime or intellectual property? I'm just curious.
Oh dear, this is the one question that it's like the toughest to answer.
Exactly. You can name off multiple. You don't have to be definitive. I understand.
Oh man, my anime list is like very, very long. So let me think here. So, in terms of like nostalgia, things that I remember, things that I love Naruto. Naruto is like my favorite. Even though like some people could say whatever about it, but I still loved it. It's what got me into anime, and I like my girlfriend and I like bonded over that. And but I would like some of my favorite.
To make it easier, have you watched any this year?
Have I watched any this year? I've read a lot of manga.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Mushoku Tensei was one that
oh yeah.
I was keeping up with.
I'm familiar with the Mushoku Tensei.
Let's see, Blue Period was also one that I really love. Those are some that I can really think. I've not been watching as much anime as I have been in the past 2 years.
I've only watched. I am so busy these days. I don't have a ton of time to watch a lot. So I watched. It's not new. It's new-ish. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen, which was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I watched a newer one called Vivi, Fluorite Eyes Song, which was amazing. Vivi's pretty good. I loved that show. Or it was only like 10 episodes, but it was fantastic. Mm-hmm. What else have I watched? What else did I watch this year? I know I watched some other stuff. The fact that I don't remember. Oh, I watched some not great ones too. Yeah, I remember. I watched High Rise Invasion on Netflix.
High Rise Invasion. Yeah, I forgot about that. I read it's okay.
I would describe it. So I have a degree in film, in cinema, okay. and I love your fancy high art snobby films, but I also really like grindhouse films, just like like Shogun Assassin and that kind of stuff. And High Rise Invasion reminded me of like a grindhouse film because it was just like people killing each other. It's pretty gratuitous in like every respect, and it's just like just feels like a grindhouse thing to me. So I actually had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun watching it. I wouldn't say it's like the best thing ever, but
I guess speaking of one of my favorite like IPs and like back then, this is also one of my favorite anime, Durarara. So I had this like box of like playing card, like Durarara like playing card themed like stuff. But this is it's one of my favorites. This is like one that I always go to and I always remember. I really love that. Like love this like anime growing up. It was so funny. It was so the story was like kind of like wacky and like really fun. I don't know. I just fell in love with all the characters in this anime. I really like this one. Highly recommend if you ever get some time to like watch yourself. There's plenty of there's like multiple seasons too, so it's really good.
Have you seen Baccano?
I have seen Baccano, yes.
Okay. I anytime anyone mentions Durarara, I also have to ask about Baccano because I've only seen a couple Durarara, but I watched all the Baccano and I really liked Baccano. It was sweet.
Yeah, Baccano is really good too. I can talk about anime all day. I mean, I have a pull up my anime list. It's just like, let's see.
I have not updated my anime list in a very long time. I've updated it sort of, but I haven't actually done anything on it. For manga, I've been trying to read more manga. And a lot of the ones that I want to read are not in English yet, which is kind of a bummer.
Right.
So the one that I really wanted to read that did come out in English this year was Free Ren, which was
Okay.
Free Ren is really, really good if you like fantasy manga. It's not a isekai; it's just straight up fantasy, and I really, really like it. If people don't know about it, highly recommended. It's basically about what happens after the heroes defeat like the big evil guy, and it's like
Okay.
I don't know. It's just a really cool story. I really like it.
Yeah.
And then I
I've been
also
reading-
started to read The Breaker, which is technically a manhwa, so it's
Breaker. Yeah, Breaker's good.
yeah, Breaker's sweet.
I think the Breaker's good. I read a lot of manhwa. I ended up getting a lot to more like webtoons, which is really popular in Korea too. So I read
Yeah.
Solo Leveling is one that I really recommend.
Oh yeah,
that one is-
I've read like the first couple chapters of Solo Leveling.
Oh yeah, it gets super good. I think I love the art and I love the characters in there. That manga or webtoon, sorry, it's so good, so good. Highly recommend. And what's also my favorite manga? All right, if you haven't read Bakuman yet,
No,
not the little like spherical balls that you roll out and they make like they spend the dragons or whatever.
Right.
It's a manga about manga artists, and it's actually like I think that's probably my top manga, my favorite like story of like all time. I read it like 4 or 5 times now, and it's like one of the biggest like inspirations, I guess. It's like you could say that, but I really love that manga like deeply.
It says
So I would recommend that too.
Bakuman.
Yeah, Bakuman. Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull up mine. There's a couple that I have on my anime list that I don't remember the names of that I really want to read, but they're not in English yet. One of them is the kaiju one. Oh, what is it called? Oh, so the ones that I'm really looking forward to, Oshinoko,
Okay.
which is it's crazy. It's really crazy apparently. And then Dandadan.
Dandadan is really good. I like that one a lot. I predict that it's probably gonna get an anime like really soon.
Yeah, I've been waiting for it to be translated into English so I can read like a physical copy, just buy the manga. And I think it's coming soon. But
It should be. The story is really good though. I really like if not to promote anything, but if you find a way to read it, I highly recommend reading it.
yeah. It's one of those things where I read some people that I watch on YouTube were talking about it, and they basically said it was like, there's a character who believes in ghosts but not aliens, and then a character who believes in aliens and not ghosts, and they kind of dare the other person to go do the other thing, and it just gets crazy. And I'm like,
Right.
I'm down. I'm down for that. That sounds cool.
It's good. Yep.
Yeah.
I think the kaiju one that you're talking is monster number 8.
Yes.
Is that the one that you're talking about? Yeah, that one is also good. I really enjoy that one as well.
Yeah, I heard that one's fantastic, and that's another one on my list. I've been getting more as I get older, I guess. I'm getting more into manga because it's just easier for me to consume. Like, I don't have to devote a ton of time to watch like a million episodes. I can just like get a manga and just read it whenever I have time.
Yeah, it's like oh, I got 5 minutes. I can read the new chapter real quick, and then go through it, and then you can read through it again. It doesn't take up much time.
Yeah, I mean, like the two that I recently got was Breaker and Free Ren, and I read them both in like a day. In a day.
That's usually how it goes.
Yep,
You can't put it down.
Yeah, sitting on the couch with my girlfriend, and she was like, playing Animal Crossing or whatever, and doing other stuff, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna read these, and I ended up reading them all. So
yeah,
it's good stuff. All right, let's start the second game.
I'll go ahead and we'll return again.
I got 8 this time.
I have a 7, so you'll be going first.
Cool. All right, so just gonna run back the same deck. So we'll start off with our Spirit of Wind, which will let me draw 6 cards. And then, interesting. I think I want to play the Crusader of Asa first. So he comes into play rested. He costs 3 to play, so let's do...
It's a pretty solid opener. All right.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. Comes into play rested, so the downside of this card is mitigated if you play it in turn 1, because it doesn't matter, because I can't really attack with him anyway. And then I will be done.
All right. So moving to my turn, I will materialize the Spirit of Fire. I will draw 6 cards. 4, 6. And then I will draw an additional card for turn.
Sounds good.
Okay. Let's see. This is a lot better of a hand, I'll say that.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm gonna set one down, or present first, sorry. Scry the Skies. I'm gonna look at the top card and draw a card.
Sounds good.
Oh, okay, that's good. Alright, I will draw this card. And then let's go to the graveyard. I'm going to play out a Library Witch. So it's a cost of 2. It has intercepts. When she dies, I draw a card. So
okay.
I'm going to set down.
Okay.
How about I set down these 2?
All right.
And I think this is probably a pretty solid, more solid opener than the last one. So I will go ahead and pass turn over.
Sweet. So we do the what is the, I'll try to get the lingo correct this time. What is the untap phase called?
Oh, the awakening phase.
So we'll do awakening
phase.
And then the materialize. Let's see. I think here I just want to level up Lorraine.
Yeah.
So we'll do level up. Which card would you like me to yeet?
Yeet the middle one for me.
Cool.
And I think I misspoke. The untap phase, we call it the wake up phase, but we're also like looking at new names, so I might miss.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah.
So this one's a good one to get rid of. It's a Crux card. It's a pretty good card, but I can't play it yet. So. And then we have her enter effect, which is going to grab this Commander's Blade. And so this ally is going to get +1 until the end of the turn, because it has an enter effect of giving an ally +1. If I'm a warrior, which I am. Alright, so we have Recollection, draw for turn. Alright, I think this is going to be pretty straightforward here. I think I just want to aggro you out again. So I'm going to start off by attacking with Lorraine and the Commander's Blade, and just attack your witch.
Okay. When she dies, I will draw a card.
Sweet. And then remove a durability, and then this also gets yeeted. I'm then going to play a Banner Knight, paying all of the cards in my hand.
Okay.
So Banner Knight says class bonus level 2+. So this effect is not happening yet because my character is only level 1. But once it becomes level 2, other allies and weapons I control gain +1 attack. However, the Crusader already has +1 attack from the enter effect of the sword. So I'll attack you for 2 with the Crusader, and then another 1 from the Banner Knight.
All right. I will be at 3 damage total right now.
Sweet. And then I'm done.
All right. So moving into my turn, we'll go to the wake up phase, and then we'll move to the materialize. So I'm gonna let's see. You have 3 units. I will level up into Rye, so I'll let you choose to banish one of my cards at random.
I'll do the one closest to your phone.
One closest to my phone. Got it.
Yep.
So you got an arcane card. It is Anger the Skies. It says deal 3 damage to all allies. Class bonus, deal 4 instead.
So when that says all allies, that includes like yours too, right?
My own, yes.
Okay, cool.
I'll put my banner stone right there. We'll go to my recollection phase. Oh, so also before that, before I forget, sure. And then draw a card. I'm gonna get the 2 enlightened counters. Oh, for the people that don't know, enlightened counters are basically one enlightened counter is like 1/3 of a draw. So Rye says Enter effect, put 2 enlightened counters on Rye. And as a fax action, you may remove 3 enlightened counters from your champion to draw a card. So, yeah.
Yeah. I know you can. There's a bunch of other cards in the Rye deck that care about enlightened counters, and I think his level 2 ability lets you put additional counters on the first time you play mage spells, and there's ways to get more.
I will do. Strange. Let me think. All right, I'm gonna play another Library Witch.
Sweet. I think those cards are great. So I mentioned Shadowverse once already. The Library Witch, the second I saw it, and I'm like, this is the bell ringer angel. Like, she's like, ding dong. Yeah.
I definitely thought the same thing too.
Yeah.
So, let's see. So basically what I'm stuck thinking on here, it's like in this game, you do lose these 2 cards at random, but you have control over what you put down, so you can kind of gauge like, is it fine to lose this card, or is it fine to just sit and try to protect yourself a little bit, by protect your hand a little bit by not putting down cards you can't afford to lose, right? So
100%.
in this case, I'm gonna be a little bit greedy, I think. I'm also going to play out my Honorable Vanguard, which costs 3. It's that one, the 2/2 with Intercept. So set down pretty much my entire hand here. This should be 5 cards in memory.
Sweet.
And I will go to combat.
Sounds good.
There's no combat phase, but I'm going to attack with I'm gonna hit you. How about you hit you in the face? It's my turn.
Okay. I can intercept that, right?
You can if you want.
I will.
You just can't retaliate.
Yep, I'll intercept it.
Okay, that's fine.
With my chonky boy.
And yeah, I'll pass turn.
Sweet. Let's see. We have untap. Let's see what I want to do here. It's very interesting. I could risk half of my hand here to level her up, but she has a pretty sweet enter effect, and I get to replace one of the cards with her enter effect, more or less. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to level Lorraine up to level 2. And so
just so you're aware,
yeah,
you don't have the weapon to attack. So if you level up,
oh, that's true.
You get the effect, yeah.
So that only works if I have an attack or if I have a weapon, right?
If you have an attack card or a weapon, yes.
Can I look at these cards down here?
You can look at them, yeah.
Okay. I need to see if I have
an. They are knowledge to you. They're not knowledge to your opponent. So
gotcha. So I need to look to see if I have an attack down here that's worth playing.
Yeah. No worries.
Like what's the chance that I get rid of something important? All right. So that is good to know. So I think instead I'm just gonna grab. I could grab a weapon. You have a 2/2 and a 0/1. All right. I'll grab a weapon. I'll grab the warrior's longsword. So it's a 1/2 weapon, but against +1 as long as my champion is a warrior. It's a class bonus. So that's gonna cost me 1. Which one of these would you like me to get rid of?
I'll do the one closest to your material deck.
This one?
Yep.
That's a pretty good one. That's a Steam Knight.
All right. That's the 3 mana 2/3 from before.
Yep. All right.
3 cost 2/3.
Yeah. All right, so these come back to hand. Draw for turn. Okay. So I think I want to punish your putting your whole hand down a little bit. So let's play a Dream Fairy.
Oh boy. All right. That's fine.
And I'm going to pay... I'm going to pay with these 2 cards. So let's do the exact middle one.
All right. You got Careful, or Peer into Mana, actually.
Okay, sweet.
So that one is now banished.
All right, and then you have a 2/2 with Intercept and a 0/1. So the way Intercept works, it only works if I attack your champion, right?
Yes.
Cool. So you can't protect your other cards. And your health total is 15. You've taken 3. I could do quite a bit here, and I think I want to while you have defenses down. All right, so I'm gonna start off by using the Warrior's Longsword to attack your 2/2 with Lorraine.
Lorraine will die, or Honorable Vanguard will die, not Lorraine. Sorry.
Sweet. And then you also have a 0/1.
You have a 0/1 with intercept.
I don't know if this is smart to play yet. What were these cards that I paid with? This is an interesting proposition. I think I'm gonna do it anyway. This is probably not the right move, but I'm gonna play Favorable Winds for free. It says it costs 1 less to activate for each each resting ally I control. Oh, okay. I thought it was just for each ally I control. Reading the card explains the card. All right, I'll just attack your I'll attack your Library Witch for 1 with the Crusader.
Okay, that will trigger effect. I will draw a card.
Cool. And then after you draw a card, I will attack you with the Dream Fairy, and then the Banner Knight to shortcut things a little bit.
Okay, I will be at 5 damage.
Cool. I am done.
Let's see here. Kinda. Let me take a look at what I got going on real quick in my memory. Alright, I don't want to lose these. Alright, I am gonna get the Surveillance Stone out of my deck. It is a 0 cost bauble. Whenever you attack with the third time you attack with a unit, I draw a card.
Sounds good.
Okay. Recollection phase, and then draw a card. Oh. So what I'll do first, I'm going to activate Creative Shock.
Oh, yeah.
Draw 2, then discard a card. So, 2.
Yeah, I like that card. It's got some slight card advantage, some filtering, but also removal. Seems pretty good.
I will discard. You gotta think carefully. I'm gonna discard a Fireball.
Ooh,
and then I'm going to deal 2 damage to your Dream Fairy.
Cool. So Dream Fairy has a death trigger. When it dies, each opponent puts a top card of their deck into the memory.
Yep. So I will get this card into the memory, and then I will close it out by playing Impassioned Tutor. So it has intercept, and then it says tap or rest this unit to banish a fire card from your graveyard.
Sweet.
And then I also get +1 level, but it's not super relevant right now. And then that'll be my turn.
Cool. How big is the tutor?
It is a 0/3.
0/3. Okay. I can deal with that. All right. So we have our awakening phase, stand-up phase. Let's see what I want to play here. I could do the Lorraine play. Attack your dude, draw a card. Do I care much about these? Push only 2 damage through. Get rid of my weapon as well. I think I'm gonna do it. I'll level up Lorraine, and so that'll just get rid of these my 2 cards. So it's a Spirit's Blessing and a card that I kind of wanted, but that's okay. It's an Inspiring Call, which I think is pretty good. And so enter effect until end of turn. Her attacks gain +2, and when this destroys an ally, draw a card. And then I will draw for turn. Seems pretty good. We're gonna start off by attacking with Lorraine and the weapon for 3 on your unit.
Okay. I'm assuming this my ally here.
Yeah, the ally.
Okay.
And so I'll draw a card from her effect, and then the Warrior's Longsword is now banished because it doesn't have any more counters on it. I'm going to then play a Weaponsmith with my last 2 cards. And then I will attack you with some dudes. I'll attack you for 1 with the Crusader.
Okay.
And then 1 with the Weaponsmith.
Alright, on the 3rd attack, I will banish the Surveillance Stone.
I'm wrong, by the way. These are 2 apiece because of the Banner Knight.
Oh, right. So I'll take 2. We had 9. And then draw a card off of the thing.
Cool. And then the 3rd attack will just be 1 from the Banner Knight. He doesn't pump himself. It's his other allies.
Yes, that would be very good if he did, but yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty. I am done.
Alright, so I will present my level 2. I'm going to choose to level up, so you can choose 2.
The 2 middle ones, since there's 6.
Alright, 2 middle ones. So you got both my Arcane Blast.
Ooh, is that the 11 damage card?
That is the 11 damage card.
That's the scary one.
Should be okay though. So I still have 2 counters. So my level 2 says the Rye lineage, Rye Archmage must be leveled from a previous level Rye champion, which I did have, which is Rye Spellcrafter. Inherited effect, whenever you activate your first mage action card of each turn, put an enlightening counter on this champion.
Sweet. That's one that when I was playing, I always, not always, but I forgot occasionally, you know.
Yeah. Let's see. I have lines of play. Let's see. Just depends on what I want to do. So you have
I have
those
lot,
2 dudes.
a lot of chunky boys.
Alright, I'm gonna do I'm gonna activate Bliss Mage, and
Okay.
it's an ally, the 3/1 with that costs 3. And then I will just swing at your Banner Knight.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Cool. Banner Knight's dead.
And I think that's probably just gonna be my turn and play it a little slow. So go ahead, it is removed.
Cool. So we will stand up. Let's see what I want to grab from here. Probably. I only have 2 cards in hand. I do like the Clarent, though. Yeah, I think since I have a Weaponsmith, I was probably smart to get this Clarent going. So I'm going to do Clarent. Which card would you like me to banish?
I will banish your left one, please.
Left one.
Oh, yeah.
Favorable Winds. The one that I tried to play but couldn't play earlier. And so this Clarent has 3 durability counters, and then it'll get an additional 1 from the Weaponsmith. During Recollection, so I got my 1 card back, draw for turn. Let's see what I can do. So your guy is a 3/1, correct?
Yes, he is a 3/1. My max HP total, by the way, is now 20, so I'm at 10 damage counters.
Sweet. I think I want to... Yeah, definitely going to kill your 3/1. The real question is do I want to waste a counter on my sword? I think I do. So yeah, I'll attack with Lorraine on your 3/1.
Okay.
And then I'll lose a durability. And then I'll attack you for 1 with the Crusader and then 1 with the Weaponsmith. Just kind of shortcutting a little bit.
Yeah, I will be at 12 damage total.
Sweet. That'll be my turn.
Alright. Going to my material. Alright. Maybe I'll have a big turn. So I'm going to get a mana limiter.
Ooh, okay.
So the mana limiter says I may not remove enlightened counters from your champion to pay for cost. Banish mana limiter, draw a card. Activate this only if your champion has 6 or more enlightened counters on them.
Sweet.
Yep. So I will go to my recollection here, and then I will draw for a card. Draw a turn. Alright, sweet. That's good. I'm going to set down or I'm gonna activate Peer into Mana, which costs 4. It says put +2 level enlightened counters on your champion. This refers to your, my champion. LV refers to my champion's level.
Yep.
That will also trigger my inherited effect. Whenever I activate my first mage action card of each turn, I put an enlightened counter on this champion. So put 1 on here, and then so I put 2 plus level. So I put 4 counters total, and I will go up to 7.
Sounds good.
Let's see, 6 plus 1, 7 counters total there.
Sweet.
Let's see. You have 3 damage on board. Will be okay for right now. I will go ahead and banish the mana limiter to draw a card, and then I'll pass turn. Do I want to pass turn? Hold on.
Hey, no problem.
Thinking. I'm actually going to remove 6 enlightened counters total to draw 2 cards.
Okay, that's good.
Alright, that's cool. Alright, that's good. I'll play Magus Disciple. It is a 2-mana 1/1 class bonus. Champion gets +1 level. When Magus Disciple dies, draw a card, and then it costs 2. So
sweet.
I set down 2 additional cards, and then go ahead.
Okay,
I'll just pass it over to you.
All right, sounds good. So we have the stand-up awaken phase. Let's see what I want to grab out of here. Basically a 0-cost card, because I don't have any cards in my memory. So we'll just grab this Life Essence Amulet. So this one is a pretty simple card. Whenever an ally I control dies, while it's not my turn, I can banish it. If I do, draw a card. So just a good way to get some value out of my dudes that I have. Then I will, during the Recollection phase, get a counter on Clarent, going up to 4, and then draw for turn. Your card is just a 1/1, but you get some value out of it. It doesn't have intercept though, right?
It does not have intercept.
So I could just ignore it. Got 12. Well, I don't think I can deal 8 damage this turn, so let's just... It's probably smart to just kill your guy, though. Yeah. I will attack your car. Do I, though? You can't just suicide your guy into my dudes unless I want them to do damage back. I'm just going to attack you for 2. Attack you for 1 with the Crusader and then 1 with the Weaponsmith.
Alright, I will be at 14 damage total.
I think I'm just going to pass. Go ahead.
Pass. Alright, interesting. I am going to get the Bauble of Empowerment, I think.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'll do that. Recollection, and I'll draw a card. Cool. So I'm gonna play the Dungeon Guide.
Oh, okay.
So cost of 3. I'll set down 3 cards here. 1, 2. Oh, I kind of want these. Weird. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah. 1. That's kind of good though. Hold on, I'm in a very strange place right now.
No problem.
Okay. Problem with your hand being too good. All right. I'll do these 3. So
okay,
that will resolve the enter effect. I can banish 2 cards from my memory at random. If I do, my champion levels up. So this is a way to get an early level, pretty much. It's also a 1/3. So go ahead, and I'll let you pick 2 out of my memory pile here.
Let's do middle one and then one next to your phone.
Okay. So you got Focused Flames and Careful Study.
Okay, sweet.
Oh, these are banished. Oops. Okay, and that last card is in my memory, and so now I will level up into Rye the Stormseer. Rye, usually it costs 3 cards to level up into level 3, so I got to add a little bit of a discount.
Yeah.
Nice. Let's see, and this enables the arcane element. It also has the activated effect of to rest this units, remove 5 enlightened counters from Rye. Copy target activated action you control. You may change the targets of the copied action.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Pretty scary.
It is a pretty scary dude. And then my maximum life total is now at 25.
Yep.
So, thinking here. Think. Well, let's see. I'm gonna activate Arcane Sight. It is 0 cost. It's an arcane spell, so I can only activate it at level 3. But my champion gets +1 level until end of turn, and then I also draw a card.
Okay.
So this goes here. I'm gonna draw a card. Also, that triggers the thing, so I get another counter on here.
Yep.
But let's see. That will end up being my turn for now, so I'm gonna go back down to level 3. Also had the Mega Disciple, so it also made me level 4. But that will be my turn. So okay. I will pass it over to you, good sir.
Alrighty. So let's see. I don't have any. Oh, I do have a 0 cost one. All right, we'll play the Avengers Ring. Avengers Ring is at the end of each turn. If 2 or more of my allies have died this turn, I can banish it, and if I do, draw a card. So if you somehow are able to kill both of my dudes in a turn, I can draw 2 cards, which is nice. Recollection phase, Clarent go up to 5 counters, and then draw for turn.
I have 3 cards.
Three cards in hand? Sweet.
3 cards.
Let's see. Okay, so you have the Dungeon Guide's a 1/3, right?
It is a 1/3, yes.
The other card's a
no
1/1.
Intercept.
No intercept. And you're up to 25 life. 25 life. All right.
25 life.
At what point do I just want to try to aggro you down? Or clear the board? We'll start by playing an Honorable Vanguard and putting my entire hand down because it costs 3 to play.
Right.
Get her out of the glare zone. All right, so I think what I want to do is let's use Lorraine and the sword to just kill your. No, I don't want to kill your one. I'll just attack you directly.
Okay.
For 1.
So that's 1 damage. Okay.
Yep.
I'll be at 15.
Cool. Then I'll attack you with the Weaponsmith.
Okay. 16.
And then the Crusader.
Oh, I'll be at 17.
Cool. And then 2 with the Honorable Vanguard.
All right, 19.
Alrighty. I will pass the turn to you.
All right. So, interesting.
And for those watching, the reason I'm not attacking into his units is because my health is decent enough. I know that his Wombo Combo card can one-shot me anyway because I'm at 22 right now. So chipping away a little, like 1 damage at me is not going to do much. And then also if I kill his 1/1, he gets to draw a card, which I don't want to give him a card. So yeah, that's why I'm not attacking his guys.
All right, I'm gonna get an artifact. It's a 0 cost.
Ooh.
It's and remove an enlightened counter from your champion. Deal 1 damage to target unit.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Materialize that here.
That card I realized was way better than I thought. I thought it only did it to allies until I realized what unit meant, which means you can blast your opponent directly with it, which is pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet indeed. All right. So I am lower life now. I think it's feasible that you could do 6 damage. So gotta think.
I do have 5 on the board.
Yeah, you do have 5 on the board. I'm at 19 damage, so I'm gonna try to have a pretty big turn here, and then I'm gonna mess it up. So I'll try to go fast. So I'm gonna pop the Bauble of Empowerment. This will effectively make me level 6.
Yep.
I'm going to first use. Oh, this is strange. Okay. Using Endura, I'm gonna tap it to remove 1 Enlightened counter. And remove 1 lightning counter, and then I'm gonna deal damage actually to my Mega Society.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To draw a card. Okay, perfect. That'll bring me back down to level 5, but that is okay. So I'm gonna set these cards down here. You're at
22.
20 life, 22 life.
22.
Okay.
Yep.
This notice.
I do have 4 counters on Clarence, so effectively 26 if I use them all on my champion.
Yes. I will set down these 4 cards to play Peer into Mana.
Sweet.
This will put 2+ Enlightened counter, so also trigger on this to get another Enlightened counter. I will put another 2 on there plus my level. My level is currently level 5, so I will put 7 counters going up to 9 total. So I'm gonna remove 3 counters to draw a card.
Cool. So you have 6 remaining.
6 remaining. I'm going to, or actually, hold on. I might remove 1 more, so go 3. Draw a card. Go with there. It's kind of interesting. Problem is now that I do not like to do kind of what I want to do, but that's okay. I'm gonna set this card down, and to activate Scry the Skies, I will look at the top 6 because it's 1 plus my level.
Yep.
Level 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are all the cards that I want. So right now I have 1 card in hand. Can I make this work? That is the question. I'm level 5, right? So this card's for sure going on the bottom. I'm going to put these here. Yeah, actually. So I think this one will probably also be going on the bottom. So essentially I'll be drawing these cards. Okay, let's set those on top.
Sweet.
I will draw off of the Scry the Skies. I will activate Arcane Sight. It makes my level +1, and I draw a card as well.
Sweet.
Now my level is was it 5 + 1 is 6? Okay, yeah. And then I will remove 3 counters to draw another card.
Okay.
And oh man, I miscounted. This is what I get. I put the wrong card on top here. Am I okay though? So you need 1 damage. Yeah, it's pretty likely that you have 1 damage to kill me here.
I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm pretty sure I can kill you unless you can prevent some stuff.
Darn, I think I might have bricked. Yeah. Ah, damn. That That sucks. All right, I will go ahead and pass the turn.
Okay. So I'll untap or awaken. So for this phase, I'm actually going to level up Lorraine.
Okay.
Getting rid of all 3 of these cards.
Right. Yeah, that will give you the
damage. All 3 of my cards were correct, so I couldn't play them. But I do have 2 weapons in the banish, so all of her attacks gain +2.
Yeah.
So she's going to be attacking for 3 with Clarent. So we'll start off by attacking with the small guys first.
Yeah, that'll be what, 2 damage?
2,
so
yeah.
21.
And then 2 with Vanguard.
Okay.
And then 3 with Lorraine and Clarent.
All right, that will push me over by 1 damage. I will be at 26, and that'll be game.
Good game. Basically,
good game.
I was looking at my options, and I'm like, okay, I have you dead on board, unless you can kill my 2 power or somehow kill me. So I was going to do everything I could to keep Clarent at 1 counter and not die. That was the plan.
Yeah, they so the idea here was that I never really had enough to kind of like just fireball something, and I was like trying to build up like for a big turn. The card that I needed was Purge in the Flames, so this would allow me to done 3. But you had Clarent on board anyways.
Yeah.
So I would have either been really close to dying, or you would have just gotten like 2 free cards as well. And then like I just didn't have enough. I think like the Clarent makes things really hard because I had also like another board wipe.
It's so good.
It costs 4 to play.
So good.
Clarent is one of my favorite cards. I think it's I usually like to play a lot of Lorraine.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, Clarent is just super good for protecting your board, especially if you have this weaponsmith out where you can just keep getting counters on it.
Yeah. He makes things difficult. I was like, oh man, because I never really had enough to do. Fireballs would they would be doing +5 damage.
Yeah, I mean,
I could try to kill, but
like even though like you didn't do any damage to me, I think the game was closer than it looked for viewers watching, because you had you're gonna have a massive hand, right? I don't know how many cards exactly, but you had a lot of cards in your memory.
I think you basically had 1 turn left, because I would have had I would have probably drawn at least, I would like to say probably like 16 cards on my next turn.
Yeah.
So the hitting both of my Arcane Blasta was like kind of big. So I was just like, oh man, he actually hit both of them.
Yeah.
I was being greedy. I was like, oh man, if I lose 1, it's okay. I know that I have 3 of them in the deck. So I was like, oh man, hopefully he doesn't hit both of them. And you got both of them. I was like, okay, that makes my turns a lot harder.
Yep. For those watching, these decks are print and play. So if you want to play it, just go print it out and play it. Literally, I printed these out at a local print shop. The quality is slightly above paper. It's kind of cardboard, but it's pretty easy for me to do. So if you'd like to play for yourself, I recommend it. Yeah.
I'd be happy to. We're actually planning to do another print and play release pretty soon. So with more balancing updates and maybe some different designs, and then actually some of the finished art, or not finished, some of the sketches that we've had by our actual artists and not by the devs. Will be on the cards.
Nice.
And then we're probably also going to be featuring some of the art that we've done, the doodle contest on our Discord. That'll be on there as well.
Some of those doodles are quite the doodles. I will say
quite the doodles. Some of them are. It's good times though. It's good times. It's cool to see the community participating on that stuff.
Yeah, when I saw Hans and Alan's, I was like, I messaged them and I'm like, that is an insane doodle.
We were all sitting on the server and chatting, and we're doing some work, and then one of our teammates was like, hey, we got some really good doodle. And then for the library, which we looked, I was like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And that was the one that Han did.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll be doing another release soon, so hopefully maybe you'll see us play again. Hopefully I just won't be losing this time. So
yeah, well, it's the luck of the cards, you know.
Yeah.
I'm at home with like these aggro strategies too, so it like very much
Yeah, same. I'm not much of a combo or a control oriented player. I'm just like Miko face, like
yeah, yep, just go face. And the only hard decisions was like, well, I mean, there's more hard decisions, but it was like, you know, do I kill your units or not? And for me, it was like, well, they don't really pose that much of a threat, so
yeah. So I think that was actually the correct decision. So you were debating like really hard on like, oh, should I kill the thing? And I was like, it gives me a card. I maybe lose a level, but I kind of want the card anyway. So this is like kind of bait. And you didn't really buy into it. It was really like cool to see.
Yeah, I was like what? I was just running through my head like, if I leave it alive, what's the absolute worst case scenario? And I couldn't think of one that was actually super bad for me. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was just playing very greedy. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try to draw as many cards as I can. I can't help it.
Hey, that's exactly how I play. Anyone who watches the channel watches me play Flesh and Blood. I'm a very greedy player. I usually go for the you know, high impact, high variance plays. So
yeah,
that's what
same. Whenever I was playing Dash, I was like, I'm just gonna banish my whole deck. So it's fine.
Yep. Definitely been there. Are these decks, by the way, what folks can expect to see more or less in the starters, or they're gonna be like different cards and whatnot?
These are designed to be the starter decks, and then like the dual decks pretty much is what we're like comparing it to. They're made to go against each other. You know, you can pick which one that you want to play, give the other one to your friend, or vice versa. We're balancing these like kind of around each other, and we've had some cases where it's like we're also testing like mirror matches and stuff as well. So trying to make sure like we catch everything and make sure that it's all balanced. But yes, you can expect to see this deck when we go live, or a version of this deck. This is a very there's another iteration that we were testing, right?
So we have Rye and Lorraine. What are the other champions that we should expect in the first set? Because I saw the Tamer character. I forget her name. She looks pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And you said you haven't announced the other one yet, right?
So the other one, yes, Tamer has been announced for this set, and her name is Sylvie, and then she'll be it's like a more of an ally based class.
That makes sense.
For the fourth class, however, it's a community vote, and we're going to be doing a preliminary vote pretty soon, and people will be able to predict like which one we're going to end up, whatever. We'll do like a final vote right before the Kickstarter ends, and then we'll have a preliminary vote to see like which one that people want, so we can start designing the fourth class. But at the moment, we're still not sure like which one. We have an idea, but we have one that we predict that people will vote for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Out of all the classes that I saw on the website, I think I know which one I would vote for, but yeah, I'm curious to see how it's gonna shake out.
Yeah. Yeah. The I don't know. We also have our predictions. I personally think that everyone's gonna vote for Assassin, but hey, prove me wrong.
I mean, Assassins are sweet, but what are the options, or can you say the options?
Oh, it should be all of them, pretty much.
So there's Assassin. There was like was it just Cleric? There was like a Ranger type class or Hunter type class.
Mm-hmm.
What was the other one? Was it a Paladin or something similar to that?
Like we call it I believe we call it the Guardian as well. I was like thinking that to make sure that we weren't ripping off Flesh and Blood, but I'm pretty sure it's called the Guardian.
The Guardian of Flesh and Blood. Not really a paladin. They don't really do magic. They just hit you hard, I guess. Though I guess Oldhim does weird frosty things.
Yeah, Oldhim is an interesting class for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also call it a Guardian. I just wanted to double check.
Sweet.
Yeah, Assassin, Cleric, Ranger, Mage, Warrior, Guardian. Guardian is going to be like a big tanky class, so it's more of like the big shield kind of person, I think. is what we have in our minds, which is someone
Sweet.
pretty bulky. So yeah, you can expect to see something cool out of that, I think. But we have, all sorts of designs kind of planned out right now, in general, and then whichever one that the community votes on, we'll go forward with that.
Nice. I'll be honest. I'm probably either gonna vote for Assassin or Ranger.
No worries.
Yeah.
I was like, if it was up to me, I'd vote for Assassin too. It's just like, I'm still just a big weep, so I was like, yeah, that one's cool.
Well, I mean, like,
So,
my channel's called Red Zone Rogue, so I gotta vote for the closest thing to like a rogue.
You
so,
are, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, the channel's named that for multiple reasons. One, obviously for rogue decks, and I really love rogue decks, but also because I like rogue characters and things. So,
Right.
Yeah. So next year, I know this is like not pretty far out, but hard to say because the Kickstarter hasn't finished yet. But would you like to have another set come out next year, or is it just going to be like the starters and then the set, and then like unlimited of that set?
So how we have it planned right now, it's the starters are going to release hopefully, if everything goes well. COVID can mess a lot of things up.
Yeah.
But in April we should have the starter decks come out. So moving forward to fast forward a couple of months, we'll have everyone should be getting their boxes of Dawn of Ashes, their first edition Kickstarter stuff, and then after that will be unlimited. We're looking probably going to be realistically maybe in like September. That will be the unlimited product, and then we're going to try to push out products in between. So maybe like the Sylvie starter deck. We'll see if we can get that done, and then we're taking a look at like whatever the fourth class will be, right? And hopefully we'll have more product around then. So we'll have like 4 decks out that in total that people can play with. And then after that, we're going to try to get more information on the second set, and then as to what we want to do for the second set, and kind of like reevaluate where everything is, because at the end of the day, we're still just kind of like a startup, right? So we're like, we're basing it off good data, but as things change, as our logistics get better, things get faster, we can do more things than we expect. We're in talks with different distributors, and they're all interested in getting organized play set up.
Awesome.
And then we're also on organized play, of course. So we're gonna try to find a way to do so. And then so I would say that a lot of the things are kind of subject to change, but for our timeline that we have on Kickstarter, that's like something that we're gonna be trying to follow as closely as as possible, like realistically, as we can.
Sweet. Yeah, I think organized play is obviously really important, and it's something that a lot of games these days ignore. So, I mean, right now basically you have Flesh and Blood as like the premier competitive like organized play game, and out of that, after that, there's like not a ton else.
Right.
At least in physical forms, right?
And
so
in terms of
go ahead.
Organized play, and like I could complain all day as like somebody who like goes to locals a lot, tries to stick a lot of games. There's just not much going on for across the board. I think the only game that like is really still doing stuff is Flesh and Blood and like Yu-Gi-Oh, which is like in its own realm too. Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh's it's kind of just been its own thing for ever basically.
Yeah.
You mentioned starter for Sylvie. Will every single champion end up getting their own starter? So like Lorraine, Rye, obviously, Sylvie, and then whatever the fourth one ends up being?
Yeah, we plan to have starter decks out, and then some of them will not be for we release a hero in a set, and then the champion in a set, sorry. And if if we don't have a starter deck product, it's gonna be like a champion similar to maybe like Shiana.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, something like that, something along the lines of that. And then we'll try to have as much, but in the early stages, we plan to have as much starter product as we can to get people going, trying out different classes.
I think that's really good.
Yeah,
that's a problem that Force of Will, they probably still have it. I don't know. I haven't really been keeping up with Force of Will in a while, but they just didn't have starter decks for a long time, and the ones that were available were just really, really hard to get. So it was just really tough to get people into the game. And so I think just having available and affordable starter product is super, super important.
Right.
And
one of the things that I love about, like I say, a game like Digimon, they have a ton of starter product, and then it's so easy for you to just pick up a deck, and then they're not it's totally expensive, and then it's a great way to start playing the game. And I think a lot of people, it was really successful with that. And so we're looking at that idea too, and trying to have like a bunch of good starter product. We plan on also having like a welcome event deck.
Okay.
Similar to like when FAB on their release, right? That's how we started. I got that the Ira deck.
Yeah.
For free, pretty much.
I got I haven't actually played with them, even though the game I got them like in last year, but the My Hero Academia like universes decks, I got like little I got little free demo decks that were sent to me. I'd never actually even opened up or played with them. I still have them, but just getting stuff like that's just really, really good.
Just we want to make sure that everybody gets like stuff to play with, obviously. I
think that's just a really good philosophy to have in general. And I think a lot of folks will be happy to hear that kind of stuff, where you just easy to get into the game if they just want to try it out, and not have to commit to buying something big. And then if they like it, then they can buy into the booster box and try to get like the cool special foils and signature cards and all that kind of stuff. I think that's the last of the questions I had off the top of my head. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for having me on the channel. Thank you to the Rogues Gallery, and for having me on here today and playing a game. Even though I lost, GG, well played. I'd just like to say, remember to check out like our Kickstarter. Join our Discord. That's where we're the most active. But we're also active on Facebook, Twitter. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on Discord. My DMs are open, and then I'll try to respond to as many questions as I get. But yeah, that's about all I had to really say here.
Yeah, sweet. Thank you for coming on and taking the time to play some games with me. I think it's fun. I've played this now 3 games, and I really like that both of these like starter deck kind of things are fleshed out enough that they don't feel like starter decks. If you come from like a Magic background and you buy those like really crappy starter decks that have like 1 rare and then a bunch of like bulk cards, like these actually feel like actual strategies. So yeah,
that's kind of our goal. I remember like good old I remember all the event decks were just really bad. I can't remember. We're trying to play that like with like your friends or whatever, you just get absolutely stumped. But our goal of these would be like you get some semi-competitive cards and get dueling right away, and having like more even leveled match than it was with like whatever it was in the past.
Oh, I guess I have one question. It's just random since you mentioned just cards and competitive cards. Mm-hmm. Will these cards be in the booster set, or are they exclusive to the starters?
So they will be in the booster set as well.
Okay, cool.
And then the booster set provides additional cards plus like collector rares and like the big collector stuff, and then the your shiny foils and stuff like that. But these cards will be found in the first set as well.
Sweet. I actually like it. I know some people are like two minds of that kind of stuff, but I actually like that they will be in the booster set. So if someone just buys the booster set, they don't have to get the starter decks to get all the cards. So
yeah, the starter decks are a really great way to start playing, and then we want the almost like the booster boxes to be like you can buy it and make a deck out of that, or you can buy the starter deck and the booster box and get like cards to power up your deck too, right? The collector's rares are also, just to be clear, it's not like Shiana, right? You have to have like the Shiana to get to play her like archetype or like class. They're basically just going to be like foil versions or like really rare versions. Like, so if you get like Lorraine collector rare, and then she would be like available in a regular version as well.
So it's like people who watch my channel, it's more like a Wii Cross, where like the highest rarity is actually super rare, but you can get like your fancy secret rares and diva rares, which are literally the exact same cards, just shinier versions of them.
Yeah. There should be. We want to keep like competitive integrity, like the competitive cards should be accessible and not just like you need the one like legendary like equipment that you have to run, and even though it's a one-up, it's like it's really rare.
$300 or whatever.
Yeah. It could be whatever price. Like we kind of wanted to avoid that. That's kind of the idea around it. So yeah.
Yeah, I dig it. It's more of like from a player, like catering to like a player perspective. So people can build decks and play with the decks. What's the highest rarity for playability? Is it like a super rare kind of deal, or like SSR or something like that?
The highest rarity for like playability. I mean, you have like, not if you're not including the collector's rares.
Yeah,
they're basically like we're calling like majestics or mythics. We still haven't settled on the official term yet, but it's going to be something on the same level as that.
Okay, sweet. And like, how frequent are those going to be? Are they similar to like majestics or mythics, like 1 in every 8 packs or whatever?
To be honest, I don't remember the rates off the top of my head, but 1 in 8 packs sounds about correct. It's been a while since we've taken a look at that, but about 1 in 8, and then the if I could pull up the numbers, I just not.
I know the collector ones are like super hard to get. I don't remember.
Yeah,
there's like
that
one.
was
yeah.
Give it one. On for like collector's rares, it's like 1 in 360. 360 packs.
So it's like
and then
10 boxes?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Because there's like 36 packs in a box? Or no, are you doing less than that? I don't remember.
We're doing 24.
Okay, so it's more than 10 boxes. Then.
Yeah. And then, we're calling them super rares. That's what we have on our Kickstarter page. Sorry. So it's just couldn't remember the exact term that we're kind of settling on yet. But on the Kickstarter page, we're using super rares.
Okay, cool. How many? What's just another random question? I'm sorry for prolonging this. How many rares or rarity types are there, not including the collector ones?
So we have rare, uncommon, super rare, and common.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Sweet. So just like common, uncommon, rare, and super rare?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, that's very similar to... I mean, that's something that a lot of people will be familiar with, like Magic, Flesh and Blood, whatever. Sweet. But yeah, thanks again for taking the time to come on, man.
No worries. Yeah.
I really appreciate it. Folks watching, definitely... If you're interested in it, if you thought the gameplay looked fun, if you think the art looks cool, just go check out their Kickstarter and, read what all the stuff that's on there. Or like Alan said, you can reach out to them directly, either on the Discord or on their Twitter. So, yeah. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will have some more Grand Archive content in the future, I'm sure. So, thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye. Thank you.